Your income is by far the most important tool for building wealth. Increase your income and you'll have more money to save, invest, and use to pay debt off faster, getting you one step closer to achieving financial freedom. And the easiest way to do this is to thrive in your career and get promoted. So here are 5 simple tips that helped me secure 3 promotions and almost doubled my salary in less than 5 years. The first tip is by far the easiest, but often the one that's most forgotten. You have to let your leader know as soon as possible that you're eager to develop and are wanting to be promoted. I know it sounds like common sense, but I myself have been burnt by not expressing early enough that a promotion was what I was seeking when it came time for my annual performance discussion. Although I worked my butt off and thought I was ready, my leader at the time did not. You want to make sure your leader puts you on the pathway for a promotion as early as possible, ideally before the performance cycle even begins. If your leader thinks you're ready for a promotion, then you've done the right thing by reminding them of that, and you can hold them accountable throughout the process. And if they don't think you're ready, use the opportunity to understand exactly what you need to do before they think you're ready for one. The earlier you do this, the better your chances of demonstrating what you need to achieve before the promotion cycle begins. Following this tip also helps set your expectations. If a promotion is looking unlikely in your next performance cycle, then instead of burning yourself out, giving every task your all, only to walk away from a performance discussion disappointed and frustrated like I did, use the time to refocus your energy on the areas of development that matter for your role. Tip number 2. If you want to turn those dreaded performance discussions with your boss into an opportunity for a promotion, you have to follow one simple step. Take any and every opportunity to ask for feedback, no matter how constructive you think the feedback might be. Look, no one really likes hearing anything bad about themselves, and truthfully, no decent person likes giving negative feedback either. But swallowing your pride and asking for feedback on a regular basis, not just from your boss, but from any leader or colleague you interact with, will achieve 2 key outcomes to make your performance discussion a breeze. First, it'll show you what you're doing really well. And if you play to these strengths, you'll be able to shine out from your peers and show your leaders that you're ready for the increased responsibilities that come with a promotion. Second, it'll show you what you're not doing so well. And that isn't a bad thing. By even asking for constructive feedback, you're telling your leaders that you want to grow both personally and professionally. And if you can show them that you've done the work to address your weaknesses, they won't have a valid reason to not promote you. And whenever you get the feedback, you want to make sure you write it down. And when it's time for your performance discussion, use every piece of feedback to justify why you're ready to be promoted. If your boss is unable to provide examples that disregards the positive feedback you've received or the work you've taken to address your weaknesses, they will have to acknowledge that you're a high performer, a key requirement to start the process of promotion. Tip number 3. If you want to get ahead, you have to play the game.
Do you want to play a game?
No, not that kind of game. The corporate game. You could find the cure to cancer, but you still wouldn't get promoted if that's not what your workplace is trying to achieve. Every workplace is guided by a different set of values and goals. And as a result, each workplace will have a unique set of metrics on how they evaluate their employees and their contribution to the company. In my own experience, putting more effort in targeting these metrics and taking on extracurricular opportunities that align with my workplace's vision has gotten me a lot further in my career than doing my day-to-day role well, or even better than my colleagues. Sounds unfair? It is, but that's just the game we all have to play. And to play the game, you first have to understand what metrics you're being measured by. To do this, read every piece of policy and information about your workplace's performance cycle. More often than not, there'll be some sort of development framework in place that outlines the skills and values you need to demonstrate. This will be used to guide performance discussions with your leader. Once you've understood what these metrics are, make sure every opportunity you're taking on actively contributes to them. For example, if inclusion and diversity is a focus area of your workplace, think about how you can get involved. This can be by joining an existing diversity network, or if it's a skill you need, even if it sits completely outside your day-to-day role, spend the time to upskill yourself with the endless free resources available and find a way to apply it at work. I once had a whole team of people praise me just by fixing up and automating some of the reporting they were doing by inserting some very basic Excel formulas in their spreadsheet. Although I did this because I genuinely wanted to help, it helped my career because it saved the team time and the organization had a big focus on cost cutting and optimization. By arming yourselves with as many examples as possible of where you've showed initiative to contribute to exactly what your workplace values and is trying to achieve, convincing those above you that you're ready for a promotion becomes so much easier. The fourth tip might be the hardest to follow, but it's the most important. You have to grow your network. And I know what you're thinking. You were promised simple tips, and there's nothing more painful than networking, especially if you're an introvert like me. I promise you, growing your network and making yourself well liked in a professional setting is not as hard as you think. And the reason it's so important is because the quote, "It's not what you know, but who you know," could not be more true in a professional work environment. And it'll be the deciding factor of whether you get promoted or not. In any mid to large corporation I've worked in, the process for promotions is done via a series of leadership roundtables. This is where every leader gets together and ranks every employee in a salary band from best to worst. This is repeated at each level of leadership and eventually determines who is eligible for the limited number of promotions available. So what often happens is that while you might be the hardest working employee, if no one other than your direct line manager knows who you are, it's unlikely you'll make it very far in this process. To come out on top, you need as many leaders who know who you are and to respect what you bring to your workplace. So, here are 2 easy steps to grow your network and become well liked. First, you have to branch out and put yourselves in situations where you'll get to meet and work with new people. The easiest way to do this is just by being open to every opportunity that comes your way, especially if it involves work outside of your usual day-to-day role. The opportunities don't have to be work-based either. It can be as simple as helping setting up an office social event or getting involved in a diversity network you're passionate about. These are usually sponsored by a number of senior executives, and the events they host throughout the year will get both your name and your face around very quickly. And if you work somewhere where opportunities don't come by very often, it's on you to seek them out. As long as it's okay with your boss, reach out to other teams and ask if they're looking for any help. Whether it's by sitting in on their meetings, taking minutes, or assisting them with a project, even the smallest contribution will leave a great impression. And once you find your first opportunity, you'll find more and more quickly come your way as you build your personal brand as someone who's reliable and eager to help out. Once you start putting yourself out there, you're also going to want to leave a strong impression on those you interact with. While this sounds quite daunting, it's actually quite simple. Everyone loves to feel special and good about themselves, and everyone will remember the person who made them feel that way. The quickest way to achieve this is going out of your way to compliment someone where it's warranted. Whether it's a colleague delivering a great presentation or a leader navigating a difficult conversation with ease, be sure to let them know, even if you don't know them that well. But please don't overdo it. People can pick up on when you're being insincere. Try to also remember what people tell you and ask them about it the next time you see them. Look, I get hearing about what Karen's kids are up to for the 100th time this weekend might not be what you want to hear about, but nothing will make her feel better than asking how a child soccer tournament went over the weekend. If you can just remember one thing about someone's personal life, whether it's a hobby, interest, or their family dynamic, and actively bring it up when you bump into them next, it'll show you remember that you care and will make them feel so special. Keep both of these steps up and your network and personal brand will grow exponentially over time, and securing each promotion will get easier and easier. And finally, you need to learn when it might be time to move on. Sometimes, no matter how hard you work and how many people you impress, restrictive budgets and workplace bureaucracy are just some of the hurdles that can get in the way of you ever being recognized and promoted for your achievements. To know when it's the right time to start looking at roles externally, I ask myself these 3 questions. Do I believe it's likely I will move into a more senior role within the next 12 to 18 months? Will I continue learning new skills that will be relevant for my future career goals by staying in this role and at this level? And are there any other opportunities internally I can pursue that will develop the skills I need in order to continue growing my career? If the answer to all 3 questions is no, then there's no harm in seeing what jobs are out there, how much they pay, and if anything looks like it could be your next best opportunity. But as always, applying for and taking a role externally will always come with its risk. You have to decide what the best course of action is for you and your circumstances. And there you have it. Those are my 5 tips to help you land that next promotion and boost your income. If you've made it this far, please accept my thanks for watching. And if you'd like more, it'd mean the world if you subscribe to my channel. But please, let me know in the comments your tips for securing a promotion. I'd love to know what works for you and how you've navigated the terrifying corporate ladder. Thank you.